All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got a big one on the show today.
Hey.
Mr. What my name is himself, Shawty.
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, man? You know, happy to be here.
What's up, man? I want to get into your story a little bit, man. I've been a fan of you for a long time.
Uh-huh.
You know, I appreciate you coming to do the interview.
Oh, yeah, man. It's all G.
First thing I want to ask you, man, is why comedy, man? What it do for you, man? You know, how you get in there? Why you chose that?
First, it was that's great that you asked why comedy, cause I had to do something. It was either comedy or jail, and I was not going to jail. I started doing comedy at the age of 18. I caught my first case at the age of 17. I was 17. I was 16 in 6 weeks. Well, I had just turned 17. 6 weeks before that, I would have with a juvenile. But I caught a hard case. And so I was headed to prison, boot camp, and I just had to make some choices. And I didn't want to be in prison. I didn't want to go to jail. My mama didn't raise me like that. So I saw their comedy jam on television and things just clicked. Found me a comedy club and the rest is history.
Yeah, but so you know, explaining it like that, it seemed like you might have chose comedy. But I think most comedians, you know, I think it probably chose you. Was it, you know, growing up, did you know you was funny? Like, I mean, you think it chose you or you chose it?
Man, I know that I was gonna do something. I ain't gonna lie. I know I was gonna be somebody. I just knew it. I used to dance. I used to ride skateboards. My mama told me, she said, boy, God gave everybody the talent. It's up to you to pull it out. So I promise ever since she told me that, I just been trying to pull everything out, everything. And just Michael Jackson one glove, Tony Hawk skateboard, dancing, everything, you know. And all of that just equated to me being a great comedian.
Okay.
I used to be the human beatbox. Give me, do you know what we're going with this? Yep, hang.
Okay. But you weren't never the class clown then like that?
Yeah, I was a class clown. I said it in the hallway.
Okay.
My mom said, how you gonna learn in the hall? I'd be out there chilling.
Okay. So once you start doing it, once you chose, okay, I'm gonna do this, right?
Uh-huh.
You get good with it, you learn it, right?
Yeah.
How you know, comedy is it's a powerful thing. You know, it can be used in some of the darkest of times, right?
Uh-huh.
So when did you master the right times, you know, to do jokes, to put on your comedy, like, you know, just say like an example, man, sometimes comedy help people get through stuff, right? Like, yes. You could be at a funeral or something, you know, in a hood funeral or something like that, and the preacher might crack a joke, you know, when everybody just was crying and then everybody busts out laughing, man. Like, you know, comedy do special things like that. Like, when you learned that, you know, I could use it for that.
Man, I knew, I'm gonna tell you, because when I first started, I did it in a club with gangsters and killers. I was at the 559, West Side Atlanta. You know, it was known, that was the thing to boo the comedians. So I was going in there making them gangsters and killers laugh every week. That was my home club. That's why I started, 559. Hands down, you ask any comedian from the 90s, they're gonna tell you they was terrified of this club. But see, that's what gave me my strength. And then I was a hoodlum from Atlanta, and that's who I was performing for. So they be like, look at little Rob and Shawty up there telling jokes now. They was happy for me.
Okay. All right. What about the times when, like, just say that you have situations where the audience might not be receiving you, you know, you might get hecklers, and how you handling those situations?
Well, I really never got booed. Y'all know, if you've been following me, if you've been in my shows, I really never got booed. But one time I did. It was like, people who don't get booed, when they get booed, it's horrible. I mean, it's a big boo, because obviously we thrown off our square. But This I never told nobody this right here, man. And I still got the videotape. I got booed at Comic View. I got booed at Comic View in New Orleans. It was a setup. I'm telling you, they set me up. Cheryl Underwood was the host. I'm this fire comedian. I'm on all these videos, but I started living like a rapper. So I had $50,000 bust down Rolex. I had on my dog link chains. I'm talking about, I probably had on like $100,000 worth of jewelry. So I'm in New Orleans. And at the time, I didn't realize that New Orleans was like, didn't have an affluent black community like Atlanta. Because in Atlanta, it wasn't nothing to see somebody driving in a Benz or, you know what I'm saying? It was common. You know, it was popping. And so when I first got to New Orleans, we was riding around, and I noticed it was kind of ravaged. And I'm like, it look crazy around here. So, did my first mistake. They told me, they say, Shawty, we gonna say the best for last. So I was the last comedian on the last show at the end of the night of Comic View. So they done did 200 comedians, and then it's me. Then Cheryl Underwood hosting, and she like, at the beginning of our show, she like, oh, I forgot we had this gong in the back. Somebody gonna have to get this gong. It ain't number 4 more comedians left. One of them from New Orleans. It's me, and I can't remember who that was went in front of me. He's from St. Louis, Darius Bradford. So when Darius out there, I'm like, I gotta have him laughing harder than that. But it's like 2 in the morning. It's the 3rd show. They done recycle the crowd from the first shows. And I'm talking about, when I say show, I mean a Comic View show, a television show. I ain't talking about like 1 comedian, 2 comedians. I'm talking about per show. So it was a recipe for disaster. But this is why I messed up, because I could have had them. But I was too flashy. First of all, this ain't the rap game. So when I went to talk to the sound guy, I done exposed myself to the crowd, and I got on shorts, a wife beater, and all this jewelry. So that I already get set it up for haters. To be like, who he think, you know what I'm saying? So now you sitting there with your girl, they booted up. You know what I'm saying? When I come out, they booted up. And I thought this joke was funny. Because I came out and I got all this jewelry on, I'm all flashy. I'm like, hey, New Orleans, what's happening? I'm like, man, y'all in poverty around here. I'm like, I went to the project trying to get some weed. They ain't even had no doors on their apartment. They just had that little baby gate. That was funny to me. Man, I'm on. Boo! I thought I was on Apollo. I seen old ladies like, over there. I'm like, oh man. Then I'm like, oh, you can leave and you can get the hell on and you can leave. And I can see him like, boo! And I can hear old ladies like, boo! I'm like, oh man, it's not going good, right? And so I ain't want to come and view the ad. I started just mooning the crowd. But
get out of it.
You know, so they sort of ruined the tape. Because come if you play dirty game. One year they put cookies on a nigga. But, okay, not on me, but on different comedians. You know what I'm saying? So it's different when a comedian get booed, especially when you like Shawty. Because when I came from the back, when I came off the stage to the back, every single comedian was on their phone. I'm like, man, all these Negroes on the phone. Then my phone started blowing up. My phone ringing before I even get off stage. That's how fast they gossiping, right? But then I had bigger problems than that. Cause I'm like, man, that's some BS. You know what I'm saying? So I come up the alley. We had the Orpheum Theater. So we had the Orpheum. I think it's the Orpheum. So we come. So it's an alley on the side. So I'm coming up the alley, right? When I get to the top of the alley, New Orleans police, who I done been to 3 more Comic Views before, different seasons, and talk to them all the time, standing out there with them. But when I come up through that this time, they're like, oh, man, that's messed up, Shawty. You gonna talk about us like that? I'm like, oh, man. Then I look at the front door, and they're like, yo, there you go right here. I got a mob of Negro coming, so I'm like, oh, man. So luckily, it was a hotel across the street. We had a truck parked across the street, so I ran and jumped in the truck, and we were ready enough. And then, you know, it was crazy because me and my team, we was in trouble. We was headed back. We was staying at the casino, and I could just remember they was sadder than I was. And I had done just I was that guy. I had my team. We had Escalade on 20 songs, whatever them was back then. And me and my boy D and everybody, we came with that. I had the pieces made. I had my little shirt made, Shawty with the bling on it. I guess this was like 05. Okay. And it was sad, but it wasn't that sad, but they had like it was.
Was that like your lowest moment in comedy, or what? Would you rather have that happen or what happened to Chris Rock at the Oscars?
I rather got slapped.